Even after the amazing Super Mario Odyssey in 2017, you'll ask most Mario fans what their favorite Mario game is, and probably 80% of the answers will be either Mario Galaxy or Mario 3D World. And yes, I just realized this year how many people love 3D World. People still hold it at the highest standard for Mario games and still claim it to be the best Mario game in the franchise. I personally am leaning towards the side of Odyssey, but I definitely see why people love 3D World as well. It's different than most Mario games. It's simple, but it's fun. And as we've been moving on, we know Nintendo themselves has stated that they have a personal chart as to where 3D Mario games will go. They have linear 3D Mario games and more sandbox style of 3D Mario games, but the rumors are suggesting we're going to get a third branch here soon, being fully open world 3D Mario games, something along the line of Bowser's Fury. But with that said, I am so excited for what an open world 3D Mario game could look like, but at the same time, I do really want to see another 3D world style of Mario game as well. Something more linear, something more tight and restrictive with its gameplay, but something that's still fun. A fun, linear, 3D platforming adventure, whether it's a single player or multiplayer experience. It made me wonder if Nintendo will ever do something like this again or continue moving along the open area 3D games like Odyssey, 64, and Sunshine, and even further with an open world kind of like Bowser's Fury. So the question is, could we ever technically get a 3D World 2? I really don't think it's completely out of the question. In fact, I think there's a very good possibility, but I think there's two ways Nintendo could do this. And the first way would just simply be another 3D World. Now, I don't know if this is going to be 3D World 2, a direct follow-up, or it could be named something else entirely, like Mario 3D Land, and then we had 3D World. Maybe there's just a whole different subtitle taking us to a whole nother world or region. Maybe it's a Super Mario 3D Adventure or 3D Journey or something along those lines. Or maybe they just dropped the whole 3D thing because he can tell if it's a 3D game or not. We don't need the title to tell us that. And they do something like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, just have a completely new title based on what the game's about. But the question is, where do they go from here? Do they just keep doing more kingdoms like they did with the Sprixie Kingdom and the Flower Kingdom? Like, do they just keep going from there? Does it take place in like Sarasa Land this time around or something? Or just a new world and they just keep piling on to the long list of kingdoms we have beside the Mushroom Kingdom? Honestly, I think the perfect 3D linear Mario game would be a combination of Super Mario Galaxy and Mario 3D World. Mario Galaxy had the awe factor. It had the amazing galaxies and world building and enemies and characters, where 3D World definitely had the controls. It was tight, snappy, fast moving controls and easy to control characters with some fun power-ups and items that just felt smooth and silk to play. I don't care if people get upset about this, but if they want to go with a 3D linear Mario in the future, they definitely should go with something like Astro Bot, which feels like it takes a piece of Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World, and Mario Galaxy. It has the spectacle of Galaxy with the world design, the enemies, and the characters. As far as the items, power-ups, and individual level design with the amazing platforming, it definitely does remind you of Mario 3D World. And some of his abilities feel like captures from Super Mario Odyssey, not to mention his amazing fluidness, the way he moves, spins, jumps, and leaps feels like his acrobatic Mario counterpart. So I think if you have a game that has Mario Odyssey's amazing moveset and some awesome items and power-ups, for instance, 3D World to me didn't have super cool items. Like, yeah, you could duplicate yourself. Yeah, there was a boomerang and some stuff that we've seen from past games, but they really didn't do anything that was like really blew my mind like Odyssey's capture mechanic. So if they have something similar to that, or similar to some of the power-ups in Astro, plus some fluid mobility and movement and some amazing world building like Galaxy, just combine the greatest of the linear 3D Mario games with a sprinkled touch of that sandbox Mario of Odyssey, you really could have an amazing linear 3D Mario experience that could be the ultimate 3D World 2. Now, do they make it multiplayer? They definitely probably will, considering the fact that if they are going with an open world 3D Mario game at the launch of Switch 2, this next game probably is going to be multiplayer, because I doubt that the first one's going to be. If it's an open world game, I think it's going to be like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where it's just a single player experience, unless there's some way like a second player can help, like in Odyssey where one player could be happy. But yeah, they're definitely going to want a 3D Mario game that multiple people can play for the second outing. So I definitely see after this next one coming, it's going to be something like a 3D World 2. Now, the option I believe that they should go with. Now, I told you at the beginning of this video there was two options I think Nintendo could do, just straight up another game, and this is the second option. Mario Maker 3D. Mario Maker is such a huge game for Nintendo because it allows people to make endless amounts of levels and play levels as well. It's just an awesome thing for the community, and it always sells super duper well, even when it came out on the Wii U. So there's a good chance we could be seeing a third installment, and I think a lot of people, myself included, want to step away a little bit from 2D Mario and just dive into a 3D Mario Maker. It's definitely possible. There's actually tools and mods out there right now, like someone's already made a Mario Builder 64. You can check it out, link in the description, where you can actually download it. I even played a little bit with it, and it's actually insane. You can literally make whole Mario 64 levels, and if they can do this with 64, I'm pretty sure a whole development team can do it with other game styles as well. Maybe like a Mario Sunshine game style or an Odyssey game style, a 3D World, 3D Land game style, Galaxy game style. It could just keep on going, and this would be a great way for people to make quick little concise platforming linear levels. Slap a star down and make an obstacle course in order for the player to reach it. This game will have the longest life ever. You talk about Mario Maker lasting a while. Oh my gosh, being able to make endless amounts of 3D Mario levels that people can just download and play or check online or even make levels for other people to play, this is going to be monumental. And this kind of works in a cool way where Nintendo wouldn't have to slave away at a second 3D Mario game for one console, because I think a lot of people got kind of upset that we never did get a second 3D Mario game after 8 years on Nintendo Switch and Odyssey coming out year one. So this fixes that problem straight up by even killing two birds with one stone, giving us another Mario Maker and another 3D Mario game. The future of 3D Mario definitely is interesting, and I am wondering if there's going to be like two separate teams, maybe one making bigger, grander open world Mario games, and maybe one making more linear, fun platforming Mario games. It's hard to say, but when you got other franchises that could be taking that role for 3D Mario, or at least linear 3D Mario games, that also makes me excited, because look at Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It feels like a sequel to 3D World, believe it or not, and it's done in a really great way. It moved on to be massively successful, so I'm hoping we see more Kirby games that experience with this 3D debut, and that would be amazing. Like, imagine a linear 3D Yoshi game, whether it's based off of Yoshi's Island, like a 3D Yoshi's Island, or maybe even a crafted world where you get to platform off of the crafted supplies and stuff like that from Woolly World and Crafted World. That'd be cool. Just imagine those games, but in full 3D. That'd be awesome. Or maybe Donkey Kong can finally take that role, because he used to in Donkey Kong 64, but that wasn't necessarily a linear 3D Donkey Kong game. That was more of a sandbox game. But maybe they can make a 3D Donkey Kong game as well, because apparently there was one in the works that ended up getting scrapped where we could swing and grind on vines. It could have been so awesome, but Nintendo said no, I guess. But as excited as I am for an open world 3D Mario game, I do hope we still continue to get more linear experiences as well, like Galaxy and 3D World, because they're games that just scream Mario. It's platforming goodness at its core, and I just love everything about pretty much every Mario game. You know what, we're due for a Mario game at this point. No matter what it is, I can't wait to see what the next one is. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. A lot of you watching this video are not yet subscribed. So if you're a huge fan of 3D Mario and super excited for the next one, stop what you're doing and show me by leaving a like and subscribing. But thank you for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.